Howdy, everybody. Brian here from quantlabs.net. I just wanted to go over last night calls in Forex, also some lessons learned when it comes to alerts signaling out of MotiveWave. If you're interested in these type of topics and you want to get some free PDFs, just join our quantlabs.net/book, fill in all your details, and we'll send out those PDFs, get you on our newsletter list. All right, so last night I was hoping to see some signals like this that were generated on my last video I just put out on YouTube or Facebook at the Quant Labs net page. So overnight I started getting a number of signals, but they're not the ones that I was intending to. They were from alarms or alerts. So this is what we take away. So this is a typical signal that will be emailed out when the chart is left open on the alert in MotiveWave. So you have to understand, you have to keep the chart open, otherwise it won't send it out. So knowing that, here's a couple more further lessons. So these were the alerts sent out yesterday. So we have here Euro, US dollar that was sent out, as well as Euro, Canadian, and so forth. So that's the alert history over the last 12 hours, let's say, and you get emails for them. So when you go under home here, under the home page, or charts, these are the charts that are technically left open in the charts page. So when you leave this open and you create alerts for this, you should get your alerts. So in here, if you go through the chart, you should see the alert icons. So for now, we know how to generate signals via email. Little things like that you forget about, but it's just one of those things, right? So that's number one. So what I did last night is I put up here in the scan. Now this is really important because this page here for scan is totally different from charts. So even though you go into the scan and you look through the harmonics or whatever you're doing in the scan portion, you will miss out, I believe, on the overnight signals for those, because they're not part of the chart section, the chart page. It'll send out the alerts for these. Or if you set up like a chart or a template that I showed, and you have signals as well as emails going out for those signals, it'll only work for, I believe, this chart in the charts page. Okay, even though in the scan we are doing, let's say, a harmonics scan for this pair, and this pair, and this pair, which includes Australia USD, Euro Canadian, Australia USD, and Canada and the yen. This does generate signals, but the emails will not go out. As a result, you have to open the charts within the charts page, from what I would think. Okay, so none of that. So this is what we pretty well looked at last night. Not sure exactly where we left off, but let's just take a look at these pairs here. These are some of the calls. So the Canadian, I believe, okay, so this would be the target here, December 6th. So you see we had a nice run up, and then it just kind of went flat. So does that mean that these harmonics work all the time? Not quite, but you can see here it got pretty close into this purple zone. In terms of the Ichimoku, the Ichimoku cloud looks pretty reliable. The one thing I like about these regression channels is when you get the price breakthrough, lower band, there's definitely, I'd send an alert to potentially dump the trade here, because it's breaching the channel. Here, there's a couple of ways to do it. You can see here that two signals were generated as it approaches the upper channel, and then it dumps it on this one bar right after. So you know, you're not going to get 100% of these accurate, but this one definitely was accurate and then started piling on further. I'm not sure at what point that these, if like which one's generating the signal, if it's the regression channel or if it's um, the markers here for generated by the Ichimoku cloud. So again, lessons learned or to be learned. Okay, so here the Euro Canadian has been pretty good. You see this run up here around November 19th, it looks like. And again, we had another big, massive run up here. Now, this is where we get a signal generated here at December 2nd, and it runs up, adds another signal, and then we start seeing the sell signals as it comes down. So there's some good signs there. Usually I'm thinking on the regression channel on the upper range, it would add more because it's broken through that channel. But here, this is where we need to be really cognizant of this, because as you can see here, once the RSI hits that 70, then it starts dumping, or you know, people will start dumping that trade or their positions, and you can see it starts to fall, and then that's massive downfall, and then you start piling on again. But the Ichimoku is saying, you know, you're going down. It is going down. So, but it does forecast it to go up, and there you go. So that tells you that a lot of people are using this Ichimoku cloud, and I'm sure just by what they see here that they'll pile in to drive up that price. That's what I'm thinking. So just trying to think if there's anything on this chart here that we could take away from. No. Let's go over the Australian US dollar. Remember, what the time frames I'm looking at here are the 4 hour. So again, here we get a nice drive up on, well, it doesn't really affect us, November 29th. And then we go into this range bound mode. There's no signals here, but I would definitely use that signal to get out to dump whatever open positions you have, because here we have a pile being, or a couple of signals to buy on this bounce up, and right after that you see the sell signal, so you probably would want to watch for that and dump the trade. But you definitely want to dump the trade here. But here you can see again the RSI just as it hits 70, one last pop, and then another one, and then you dump out. So yeah, right along here is where you're going to get out, and that was what I was looking for, was the RSI. So you can see obviously the RSI is pretty good on telling you got to get out once it hits, the RSI hits 70. Here, same thing, but you get some big massive moves once it goes over 70, and usually it'll take you up to 75. Let me just check the other chart here in the Euro Canadian. That RSI would be at the peak here. So the peak would be, so it looks like once you start approaching RSI of 75, you definitely want to get out, because those are the peaks on these big, extra big moves as people pile in, and you get the, let's call it dumb money, trying to catch that move on when the breakout's on the tail end of it. And that's usually where my older strategies would get caught up in. And then you take losses because of that. The timing is just not right. But here you can see the Ichimoku looks pretty good. But funny enough, here we're in this range bound mode, and we don't see the signal here. So again, it's after it hits 70. And then once you hit, roughly in this case, I'm going to say 76.8. Yeah, I would probably dump the trade at 75, roughly. Probably 75 RSI, just get out once that RSI is hit at that, not at that amount. Funny enough, here on the Canadian Japanese yen, nice signal here. Took a nice run up, looking for a sell signal. So here our RSI is still not getting even close to 70, and then we have these big down moves, sell, 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 and when it should, something should have been triggered up here. I think there's a couple of ways to do it. Is you could either not rely on the RSI exclusively, but you might want to just have some kind of maybe an ATR or something, a percent move on the entry here, and once it hits that target, just get out, no matter where the RSI is. So actually it does hit very close to 70. So there's two scenarios here, is that if you got out at 70, you'll miss out quite a bit of these big moves past RSI of 70. But on the other hand, here, when you hit the RSI at, in this case, it looks like about 69 roughly. Yeah, you just, the problem in the exit to maximize your profit opportunity is a tough one, but I would probably put some kind of indicator there to watch for, just so you can accurately know on your reversal back to the downside. So, we're still working on it, but overall, there have been some opportunities. But here on the 6th being, let me see, maybe hourly. So there's another alert. So we'll see that should pop up on my, and hang on, let me just get the history on that. So just to confirm here, so these latest Euro USD alerts, there's one Euro Canadian, everything else is Euro USD, Canadian Japanese. So so I might have to stand corrected because we do have these charts open. So we have the CAD Japanese open. We have the Australian USD open, which was just generated now. So here comes the signal via email. Let me see if we have any alerts for Euro Canadian. Yeah, so actually I do stand corrected. It just depends upon on your 4-hour bar size, or yeah, so this does look like it will work on the 4-hour, but not as many signals, which means it's less noise. So let's check out this one, the Australian USD, which just came in. So crossed above E regular channel. So that's a USD. So what we're looking at, it looks like it's this one here. So it looks like the price came below and it's now crossed above the lower band. So how do you take that? So there's numerous conditions here, but I'm not really all that all that worried about it. What I do worry about are signals getting generated from, or sorry, emails being generated from the signals, and try to understand that. So I'm more focused at this time on the mechanics of everything to make sure it works, and it looks like it is, which is a good sign. So we leave it at that. So let me terminate this video, and I'll start up another video on the calls for both crypto and today's Forex. Okay, so we'll see you in a bit.